All right, guys. Good evening. Verdier here. I got a few things I want to discuss. Nothing super heavy duty. Probably some of it's boring to you guys. I don't know whether to do this with a light on or not. I don't want the police to give me attitude, but whatever. We'll try it this way. If we get pulled over, at least I got a camera here to record everything. All right. A few things I want to discuss with all of you. And, of course, I have to play with my nose. I don't feel good unless I have some nasal erotica in my videos. All right. A few things I've wanted to always discuss with you guys, just to let you know. If any of you people are like new to my channel and you watch some older videos and maybe you comment on somebody's comment and you're looking for me to comment on it, I usually respond to all people's comments if I can. And if it's something, you know, I understand or I have anything to say. Now, if you respond or get into a thread, an older thread, and you comment in that, I have no way of really searching it in YouTube and I won't see it. So if you bump into an older video of mine and you want to put a comment and you're hoping to get a response from me or any kind of response from me, make sure it's a new comment and that you're not responding, replying or responding to somebody else's comment, because it'll never show up and I'll never be able to do it. Or CC it to me to Verdier at Gmail, Verdier400@gmail.com. Excuse me, I'm very tired driving home tonight from work. So just want to let you know that. So, because I like to, I take pride in trying to respond to everybody in some way. You know, it's part of my interaction with people who watch my videos. So if you go to an older video, I wanted you to know that, and very important. Now, a few things I wanted to discuss about the car. One of the things I wanted to say is to discuss something about the stereo. Now, recently, I had somebody else who was discussing, you know, doing an upgrade to a stereo and the inside, and I went all out, and it's a very expensive setup. But there are other setups now, and I forgot the name of the person I was discussing this with, but I'm going to put a link in the description to a video he did. Apparently, Metra Access has their own DSP system that has an amp bypass plug. That way you don't have to really poke into any of the wires. You can basically do an amp bypass. So you can basically bypass the amp, go into one of their own DSPs, so you can reshape the sound and then hook your own amplifiers. I believe it's a 10... disabled. Yeah, shut up. I believe it's a 10-channel DSP, so to give you plenty of ability to fool around with the sound and everything. And I think it's around $500. You know, you can put a couple of inexpensive amps with that. You know, one for a sub and the other for the rest of the speakers as you choose. And you could have a very nice upgraded system where you can reshape the sound and fix it. But as I said, I'm going to put a link to a video he did. He did not do a video actually on the install, which was a little disappointing. I was kind of hoping he would do that. But what he did do is he did something that I call more of a nerdy video, where he shows you how he redesigned some of the sound on one of the channel and give you an idea how it works. So I wanted to let you guys know about that. Another run on the stereo I wanted to mention, this would be mostly for touring owners. Could happen for EX. I'm not sure exactly how their amps work. I recently had some weird noise coming through the center channel and so forth, and we thought maybe I had an overheat of the amp a long time ago before I got the other amps in, because I was running a very high volume. It was hot out, and everything just stopped working. All the volume stops working, and I had to pull all the fuses and put it back in. So I thought maybe I had caused some trouble to my amplifier. Maybe some caps were blown, or there was some problems where in the morning, when I would play music in the morning, it would have like a fuzziness sound through the center, and that would go away later as the car warmed up. So I thought maybe I had a problem with that, and I've been waiting to find myself another replacement amp. One of the concerns of when I was going to replace the amp is I was concerned that there might be some kind of proprietary setup where the amp was basically linked to the car, which is not something that doesn't actually happen. It does happen in some cars. And, you know, the amplifier is pretty expensive, like for like $400. It's a Pioneer amplifier, 10-channel amplifier. So I've been waiting to try to find one that I could replace it with in order to, you know, see if I can fix the problem. I finally found one in a crashed Honda Insight 2019, and Adam ripped the car apart, popped the puppy in there and hooked it up. I'm happy to say that if you ever have troubles with the amp and you need to get a new amp, it's not proprietary designed to each individual car. It is not linked to a car. You can basically just change the amp out down here. So if you need to replace the factory amp for some reason, you can get it off of a crashed 2019, 2020 Insight, probably a 2021 Insight if it's a touring, obviously, the same of your kind. And it should work no problem, just like that. So just a piece of FYI information for you guys to know. Now, something else I wanted to discuss. Tire pressure. There are a lot of people who run their tire pressure significantly higher on the inside. I believe that the proper tire pressure settings on this car are something like 35 front, 32 rear. A lot of people run their tire pressure a little higher, like 30. I used to run pretty much 37 across the board. There are other people running around 40. Now, there are some dangers of running higher tire pressures. The biggest danger is abnormal tire wear. Nobody has reported this in the forums. That would be Gen3Insight.com forums. Nobody's reported this who have been running at higher PSI. There is something I did want to mention, although it looks like they did some repair here, so this might not be a fair assumption. One thing I've noticed, I recently took the car in and I had the car's brake fluid flushed and changed out. Car's 2 years old, being hybrid, I thought it was necessary to do it. Usually it's at 30,000, I'm at 23, but still, 2 years, I figured that was the right time to do it. The thing is they put the tire pressures back to proper tire pressure for manufacturers. And in the last 2 days that I've been driving, since I've done that, the car drives significantly different at this tire pressure that it does at the 37 or so odd tire range, and probably at the 40 as well. And I'm surprised at just how different it drives. The big difference I've noticed is the way it handles bumps. I have a lot of bumps on the expressway. And the Touring, and I'm figuring the EX, although the EX's suspension is a little different than the Touring's. The Touring seems to have some kind of special little, whatever. I'm not even going to get into it. I've noticed that the bumps don't hit the car as hard when the tire pressure is set to these lower tire pressures, which are what the car calls for. When I was at the higher tire pressure, at the 37 range, the car was a little jarring on these hits. Now, it still held true to its course, unlike the Ford Fusion Energy, which would tend to hop because of its softer suspension. And I know I'm rattling. I do apologize. I should get right to the point. I've noticed that when the tire pressure is set correctly, this car is much better on the bumps. They're not as jarring. I don't feel like my teeth are getting yanked out of my mouth. I don't feel like my skull is vibrating when I hit bumps. I mean, it's still a little rough on the ground. I mean, this is a lower to the ground, more sporty-ish type of car, but it's much better riding. So for all of those that have put their tire pressures up to get better gas mileage, at the possible danger of bad tire wear, it's not always going to happen. Nobody's reported that problem. I'd like you to go and drive on some of these roads that you've been on and lower your tire pressure to manufacturer's recommended specs. And I'd like to know, like right now I'm hitting a lot more bumps and they're a lot easier to deal with. Let me know in the comments if you have seen any change, and if you see that it's better when you lower, when you put the tire pressure to manufacturer's settings. It wouldn't be surprising if it did, but I just want to know. So if any of you guys are willing to try that out, I figure people like Insightfully and Hazard and some of the real big time guys over at the Gen 3 Insight forums, I figure some of you guys are probably going to be willing to try this out, because I figure you guys are going to find this fascinating, because a lot of you guys are really generally very fascinated about, obviously, getting good gas mileage, but also would be fascinated by this. So let me know and tell me how it went, because I'd really like to know. Something else I wanted to get into, and I'm not going to go too deep into it because I haven't really followed up on it. The rattle in the vents. It did come back, and I haven't really dealt with Charlie's yet because I want to steel myself to have the right mental case to sit down and talk to them about it. Because while they're very useful place to work with, there's going to be a limit to how many times they're going to be willing to change that vent without having a discussion with Honda Corporation about it. I recently got a call from a viewer of mine, very nice viewer, nice talking to you on the phone, who told me that their 2020 inside at 6,000 miles is starting to have that weird rattle in the center vents. Somebody on the Gen 3 Inside forums, I might put some pictures up here, hopefully, if he says it's okay. He did a modification on the vents on how to fix them. The problem is the modification is not for the faint of heart. You literally got to still rip the front of the dash apart. And he replaces some of the parts with metal parts for the vents, because it's basically like the back of the vents, part of the vent is rattling because it's cheesy, cheap plastic. And I think it's a manufacturing defect, because otherwise, I believe it's just some of the parts are defective. And it's a very minor kind of defect. It's just annoying. And I think that's why not enough people are actually showing this problem. It's imperative that you guys go to your dealership and tell them that they need to make sure that Honda knows about this problem, so more people can get this in, so Honda has a record of this being a problem. Right now I'm all on my own, and I got to sit down with Charlie's Honda and see about getting this vent changed again, except this time we may have to talk to Honda and find out what the hell is going on about this. So very important with your vents, make sure you go to the dealership and you get it changed. It is that vent that's doing it. So that's about all I'm going to say on that. I will keep you guys informed on what's going on with the vents once I get up the courage and I have the good brain set up to talk to Charlie's about it, because changing the same part over and over and over again, especially when it's a 3-hour job, even if Honda pays them, is more than some people can bear before they start getting pissy. And I don't want to get into a fight. I have good relationships with these dealerships, and it's hard to get good relationships based on some of the shit I hear from other people about how bad their dealers are. Yeah, I'd rather try to keep it on good terms. You know, sometimes I show up with candy or cake. You know, sure, bribe. You know, sometimes a bribe helps a little. Just be nice. So I just wanted to let you know where I was on that. And that's basically really all I have to say. Still having trouble with the head unit up here. Still getting weird crashes. There's some kind of incompatibility with this system and Android Auto and probably Apple and Bluetooth. Honda needs to get their rears in gear and figure this out, which they ain't gonna do. And if they do, by the time they do it, they're probably gonna be changing the whole system to something else. It's pathetic. All I know is my same phone with Bluetooth and with Android Auto never crashes, never has a single problem on the Ford Fusion Energy. So this is not my phone that's the problem. It's some kind of interface. It's some kind of bug issue with Honda's system. Honda, you guys suck at this. Get this fixed. It's bullshit. Enough is enough. All right, I've said enough in this video. I know it was a little long, always long-winded and rambling. I do apologize. And so I'm going to call it the end of the evening. Let you know that any time you guys want to get in touch with me, vertier400@gmail.com. I'm always happy to talk to you. If you have something, you know, heavy duty and you want to talk long, I'm more than happy to talk on the telephone. You know, I appreciate all the guys that watch my videos. I really do. I appreciate all of you. We're all enthusiasts for this car, and some of you for the Ford Fusion. You know, I'm not the best at all this, but, you know, I give as I receive. You know, if you're not screaming at me, call me some disgusting piece of shit or something like that, I'm always happy to talk to people and help them. I'm not the panacea of knowledge. I'm not the smartest person. I don't know it all, and I forget things. Sometimes I say different things. Sometimes I apologize for that. That just has to do with my aphasia. So anytime any of you guys want help, have any opinions, questions, and you want to literally talk to me on the phone, I'm always happy to talk to you guys. So that's it for tonight. Vertier out. Take care.